The Ukrainian military has been suffering the heaviest losses on the southern front lines. However, in spite of this, Kiev forced them to launch a new wave of large-scale assaults. After constant attacks by small infantry groups called by the Russians the Mosquito Offensive, which brought no results on the Zaporozhye front lines, Ukrainian forces finally launched new large-scale ground operations with NATO tanks and armored vehicles in an attempt to break through Russian defenses on the eve of the NATO summit in Vilnius. 2 days before, Ukrainian forces managed to break through up to 500 meters into Russian defenses northeast of the town of Rabotina. However, they are still securing their stronghold in the area, unable to develop any further success under the heavy shelling of Russian artillery. Ukrainian columns with Western vehicles were finally deployed in the attacks, which, however, resulted in no gains but growing losses. According to preliminary reports from the front, the Ukrainian army lost at least 3 German Leopard tanks and up to a dozen foreign armored vehicles in operations near Ortakov over the past day. On the night and morning of July 11th, the Ukrainian military resumed assault operations using foreign heavy equipment. They targeted Russian positions near Rabotina, located between the areas of responsibility of the Russian 291st and 70th Regiments. The Ukrainian command likely bets on the lack of coordination between Russian units, but the Russian military continues hitting Ukrainian and NATO tanks holding control of their stronghold in the area. To the west, Ukrainian assault groups replenished the graveyards of NATO tanks in the area of Pityhatke. Footage from the spot confirms that Ukrainian military columns fail to pass through the minefields before they can reach Russian positions in the area. More and more Western vehicles are turning into metal scrap by the unprofessional operating procedures of the Ukrainian military. During the meat assaults of Kiev's infantry, Ukrainian servicemen are also stopped by mines. Russian forces were seen using their mined trenches as traps for the attacking enemy soldiers, who are often heavily drugged and unable to clearly assess the situation. As a result, dozens of Ukrainians are killed in a moment demining Russian traps. So far, Ukrainian forces achieved no victories near Pityhatke, while the positional battles continue in the area of Velikaya Novoselka and the front lines remain unchanged. The main battlefield is now at Gersovaya Belka. This is a small, dry riverbed located north of Pryutna, where Ukrainian forces are attempting to gain a stronghold. Heavy battles are ongoing along all the front lines, where the Ukrainian military attempts to gain at least some victories to justify the multi-billion-dollar aid paid by NATO countries. The NATO summit begins, but Zelensky has nothing to boast of to his patrons.